I am here at Sound River Studios in Long Island City, Queens, in New York. I'm here in an empty room right now because I'm waiting for our first vendor to load in. I love a little quiet morning. It's going to be a pretty long day today, 18 hours, so we'll see how I fare. It's hot and humid, and I don't know if it's gonna rain. Trying to make a rain call, but we'll see what happens. There's a helicopter outside and you can probably hear it and it's really annoying. So I had grand plans of setting up studio lighting for this video, but it didn't happen because such is life. Gonna run out for an event in 30 minutes and I've been meaning to film this all week. I just haven't had the energy or inspiration to do it. I've maybe posted like 5 videos now, I think. And I've been hitting my goal of 2 a month since mid-August. I'm just trying to keep going, and so if I didn't do it today, then it's gonna get pushed again to tomorrow, and we have another wedding on Saturday that I'm helping John with, so I feel like today's the day so that I can finish editing the video that I've been editing. In my last video, it was an overview of the 12 days we spent in New York City. It included like fun things we did and friends that we saw and a couple of weddings that we worked on. But I wanted to focus on some of the behind the scenes about this one wedding that I had been working on for a year. I got permission from my client to share the footage and everything. So yeah, I'm really excited to sort of take you behind the scenes of just the non-glamorous side of events, just the reality of things that can happen as you're planning your own wedding or event. So this wedding, it was at a venue called Sound River Studios in Long Island City, which is a neighborhood of Queens. If you're not familiar with New York, it's just across the water from Manhattan, probably a 10-minute car ride, 1 stop on the train, depending what part of the neighborhood you're in. It's a blank space, a raw space, completely white with, I'm not sure how high the ceilings are, but super, super high. It's a giant venue and it comes with nothing. It comes with like a kitchen the caterer can use. It has no furniture, it has nothing. You have to rent the bridal suite separately if you want to use it and have your bridal party and everything up like that up there. I will do a more in-depth sort of review / informational video about Sound River Studios soon, but I'm not going so much into the venue as I am about the wedding itself. I was the planner and designer. John was the DJ. I think I booked this wedding maybe last September or October, and so it's been a pretty full year. The clients' names are Marites and Judd. They are also from Queens, and I loved how just everything was about them being from Queens, and they took pictures in Queens neighborhoods. It was a pleasure to get to know them. I'm based in LA, so you're probably wondering how I got this client. They found us on Instagram. Asia Dang she's a big YouTuber and influencer, and she has a product called the Master Plan. It's all about helping you budget, not just for weddings, but for your life, helping you get out of debt and having a plan for it, and it's a really popular product. And so she got married a year or 2 ago in Hawaii, and she actually launched a wedding master plan, and she took her experience, she made a Notion template for it, and she had a call on Instagram about if any vendors wanted to be included as part of the community. I actually emailed her and I was included, and that's how Marites found me. And even though I was in LA, she wanted to hire me, and we just felt this like connection, and I do hope that we stay friends, you know? Well, I had been based in New York for a very long time, so I know the city and I know vendors and all of that, and the landscape pretty well. Some of the wedding details, it was almost 200 guests, just under 200 guests, but about 30 of them were kids ranging in, from newborn age to 18. It's a wedding that's on the bigger side, and Meritans and Jed have been together for a long time, so everyone was really, really excited to like be there. And I do want to take you through some of the highlights as well, but maybe I'll end with those because I feel like I would prefer to end on a positive note. Not that anything's super negative. With any event you do in New York, especially if any part of it's going to be outside, you have to think about the weather. And so we didn't really think about it until the last like week and a half, because in New York it's truly unpredictable. I had heard that the week before I got there, wedding was Saturday, September 9th, and I got there on Thursday, September 7th. I had heard the whole week before it was like really nasty and rainy and all of that. By the time I got there, it was still really, really hot and humid. We just weren't sure how it was gonna go because, you know, the forecast could say no rain and then it just starts pouring. We were planning ahead for it, and, you know, we like had a different version of the floor plan and all of that. But the ceremony was always supposed to happen on the pier, which is adjacent to the venue, and you have to get a separate permit for it because it's run by the New York City Parks Department. And it's super cheap. It's like under $50. Maybe it's only like, I think it's like $25, $50. It's super cool because it's outdoors, and then you have like the cityscape in the background, skyline of Manhattan, and it's on the water. People don't have to go into the venue just yet. They do the ceremony at the pier. We were trying to make the call kind of as late as possible. Just having an outdoor ceremony is like something that people really love. I was trying to like push for it. Decided to come outside to take a look at the city. I'm on the pier by the venue. This is where the ceremony is supposed to be. Unless it rains, then we have to take it inside. But we're gonna make that decision a little bit later. I don't know, it's feeling really humid right now, really good right now, but I mean, I don't know if you can see the clouds. I feel like weather like this, it can start raining at any time, and I just don't want to get rained on, obviously, during setup or the ceremony. So I don't know, we're gonna have to make a decision. Now, the venue itself has like this outdoor area that you could also do a ceremony on. It's a little bit tight for like the 170 or 80 guests that had to be seated outside of the bride and groom and the wedding party. We were gonna try and make it work, and then that way, if it did start raining, then we could just pull the chairs in really quickly and set it up just inside on the dance floor, which was the backup plan that we had anyway. So of course we did that, and then it wasn't raining.
Oh, it's so humid.
It's about to rain.
Oh shoot. Uh-oh.
It started drizzling right before guest arrival time, and a lot of guests were already there because there was a lot of people on the processional. They were already there and people were on time. Venue has a lobby or foyer that isn't quite as air conditioned as the main room. That room was getting really hot and humid because we were holding people there, and also outside was really hot and humid and rainy and drizzly, so people didn't want to be waiting outside. A little bit of added stress and just discomfort for everybody, including my team. We were just running around trying to get everything done amidst all those people, where we're trying to get the welcome table set up and the seating chart and all of that. So some of the things didn't get set up 100% the way we wanted, but it was totally fine. We ended up having to pull all the chairs in. And by we, I mean the catering team. They're called Eventful NYC, and they were an amazing, amazing team. Their whole staff was great. The captain was awesome, and we had such a great experience with them. And basically I told them that we had to pull the chairs in, and then they did it super quickly, wiped down everything, and we were good to go. And then we did the ceremony. We put the garage door up of the venue, like right where the ceremony is, and so you could still see the backdrop of the city. The only thing is, with this venue, you have to go through the reception space to get to the area where the ceremony is, which isn't super ideal unless you rent a lot of like drapery or something like that to cover all of the tables if you want that reveal for your guests. That's obviously a more added cost. This was always just a backup plan anyway, so we didn't have all those in the plans. But you know what? Everyone was comfortable. It was strong AC, and it was super cool inside, and I think everyone probably appreciated that. Another thing that the weather almost affected was first look photos, because we were planning to do first look photos at Queensbridge Park. Still were able to do it there, thankfully. So the weather's holding up. We're at Queensbridge Park, but it's pretty humid. Not sure if it's gonna rain. We'll see. We were able to do the first look out here, so we'll see what happens. Honestly, it was like that feeling of like, oh my gosh, is it gonna rain? When's it gonna rain? When's it gonna rain? It magically held out for the hour that the couple and the wedding party were taking pictures. And it actually looked even better because it wasn't sunny. And you know, when it's too sunny, it's too bright and it's way too hot. It worked out. It was really gloomy so that the pictures probably look awesome. So that was weather. That's pretty much what it affected. After the ceremony, everyone was just inside anyway. It stopped raining, so people were able to go out on the patio or terrace of the venue and just hang out. Another thing we ran into was usually if ceremony and cocktail hour and receptions are all in different spaces, you have a little more time to set up the reception. For instance, if the guest arrival time is at 5 o'clock, the ceremony starts at 5:30 and cocktail hours from 6 to 7, then you don't necessarily have to be complete for the reception till at least like 6 or 6:30, right? With this venue, we had to be ready pretty much entirely before guests walked in because we had to do the rain plan, and so people were going to see everything, and we wouldn't have been able to continue setting up during the ceremony, obviously, because we don't want to be making noise or have any movement. And also for pictures, we don't want staff in the background on things like that. So we kind of lose like an hour or hour and a half. The vendor team was running a little behind. Our florist there was just a lot to finish up and it wasn't quite complete. We all kind of pitched in and all hands on deck and we got it done and cleaned up and everything. Another thing that happened was we had this really fun like ceiling treatment over the dance floor. Fabric fringe strands, 12 disco balls, which was super fun. The process was a little bit clunky with the vendor. It was a really busy season for everybody and things got lost in translation a little bit from the beginning to the end. We worked it out. Some of the colors were off in the beginning, but before everything got hung, it was fine. Sometimes like things don't turn out exactly as you expected, but it actually turned out looking pretty good, especially as the lights got darker. And the fabric we chose was really iridescent, kind of sheers, and we didn't want it to be too saturated because we didn't want it to give off too much of like a Barbie vibe, the pink and all of that. It looks beautiful, we thought. It ended up working out, but this is just a reminder or a thought, I don't know, like a comment about just vendor management. Things don't always work out the way you might imagine sometimes, and you can try to be as clear as possible. You can try to plan as much as possible. But on the day of, unless something is egregiously off base, then you kind of have to roll with the punches and make certain decisions based on what's available to you at that time, because time is really of the essence, right? When you're setting up for an event, you only have a few hours usually. Luckily, it was a team that was very familiar with the space. And so we got everything done in time and it looked great, and it looks great in pictures and videos and all of that. So that's kind of what we can hope for in that regard. This was my first time planning a Filipino wedding, and I have to say it was a lot of fun. I love the large families that both my clients had. People traveled from near and far to come to this wedding and celebrate with them. They, went through some personal things as well that week, loss of a family member, just things that kept getting thrown at them, but they really handled all of these things with grace. The sense of family, especially because not just family, but also close family friends. It was a great environment. And obviously that's a great environment for any wedding. You're bringing all of the people that love you and care about you and that you love and you care about to come celebrate your love. That's a real testament to who you are, right, as the couple. I just loved all the details that Meritas and Jed put into it. They really wanted this wedding to be super fun. They wanted it to be colorful. They wanted the music to be good. It was all of those things. No matter these little mishaps here and there, that's bound to happen, and that's why they have a planner to manage those things. I think one thing I did learn about Filipino weddings is that family loves to be involved, which is great. Just not something I'm used to with having very strict sort of timelines and keeping things moving. I loved just like the constant action there was. There was an addition of dance with the bride and one of her aunties. There was the money dance. The bride did a dance with her nieces, like a Selena Gomez song. Her dad sang. groomsmen wanted to do a surprise for the groom, just have like a little moment. There were cousins from Canada who wanted to do line dancing, and
one hop this time. Right foot, 2 stumps.
it was just all of these things that happened, and typically I would have been thrown a little bit in terms of like all the things that we had to fit in. I think the energy was just really high and really great. So John and I just kind of went with it, went with all of it, of course. There was someone who asked me if they could do a song, or their daughter could do a song, and we were right about to cut the cake and go into dancing, and I said no because we had a very limited time for dancing, and I knew that was important to the couple, and I wanted to give them a solid 1 hour and 45 minutes to get their dancing in with all of their friends and family. You know, I was joking to my client later on, Filipino weddings just need to have extra hour just to include all of the programming from family and friends. And I don't think that's a bad idea, honestly. That way you can have a little bit of breathing room and people can like sort of enjoy dinner while like there's entertainment happening before you sort of go into the dancing part. Because typically a reception is 4 hours long, right? You have dinner for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours, you cut the cake and things like that, and then you'll have the dancing. Anyway, it was a lot of fun, so much love for them. They were a dream client to work with. They trusted us. Really goes a long way when a client trusts you, and there was mutual trust. Whenever things didn't happen and I had to share not so great news with them because something became unavailable or something became more expensive, they were always there to listen to what I had to say, and we would collaborate and figure it out together. And at the end of the day, we did come under the projected budget, the budget that we had laid out from the beginning. So I think all in all, it was a win. I wanted to give you sort of a peek behind the curtain about things that go on in events and weddings. It's not always perfect. It's really about, of course, details are important, and of course, vendors delivering what they promise or contracted for are important, but it's also about the just general experience, being flexible with everything that comes your way. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm still trying to figure out just general direction of the channel, if you can probably tell, but a lot of it's just about life and business from my perspective and how I live my life. And honestly, as a business owner, you would think like work is my life, but it's really not. And I don't want it to be. I want it to be more, I just want to show the human side of everything that I do. So whether it's work or family or relationships, it's all a part of the human experience. I'm like really figuring that out as I make more videos. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this one. The next video I'm gonna do is just about what event planners even do, because I'm sure everyone has an idea about it. But yeah, till next time.